is it getting better? Or do you feel the same? Will it make it easier on you now? You've got someone to blame. You say, one love, one life, it's one need in the night. One love, we get to share it. Leaves you, baby, if you don't care for it.
Did I disappoint you or leave a bad taste in your mouth? You act like you never had love, and you want me to go without. Well, it's too late tonight to drag the past out into the light. One, but we're not the same.
Come here for forgiveness? Have you come to raise the dead? Have you come here to play Jesus? Or to the lepers in your head? Did I ask too much? More than a lot? Gave me nothing, now it's all I got. We're one, we're not the same. Will we hurt each other, then we do it again? You say,
can't be holding on to what you got when all you got is hurt.
one love, one blood, one life. You've got to do what you should. One life with each other, sisters, brother. One line, but we're not the same. Get to carry each other, carry each other. One.
good morning. Welcome here today. Welcome to what we call the TMP live stream, the Meeting Place live stream. That always seems really interesting to me, the live stream. Literally, as you're sitting at home in your pajamas with your fluffy slippers on, you got a cat on your lap, a coffee in one hand and a piece of toast in the other hand. By the way, you got some little something right there. We're doing this live, like right now, this minute. The music is live this morning, the speaking is live. So as you've noticed with me, my good friend, our good friend, Mr. Mark Lee is here with us for
Hello.
one day only. Welcome here today, Mark.
Thank you. Yes, it has been a while, and sadly I'm not in town long, but very happy to be with you today, and thank you very much for welcoming me to be a part of the worship this morning.
The popular rumor is that you've been touring the world with rock pop band Savage Garden. Can you tell us about that?
No, sadly I have to disabuse everybody of this false rumor going around. In fact, I was in university in the UK for 6 years, actually. So I've been gone for quite some time. And now I'm actually moving off to New Brunswick. Carly and I, who you may remember as well, she's just wrapping up her degree at the moment in the UK. And then we're going together to New Brunswick to pursue a new opportunity there. So that's
right on.
That's what's ahead.
Well, it's a pleasure and an honor to play music with you here today, dude. Glad to have you here.
Feelings very mutual.
One of the things with our live stream today is there is, I think if you turn your device sideways, there's a little chat feature. So when Mark and I finish doing a song here, that will be up. Mark said he may spend a couple minutes on there. So if you want to say hey to him, ask him any questions, anything like that, he might be available for a little bit. We're going to come back and do some songs after Gary speaks, but maybe to open this morning, Mark is going to do a quick prayer here.
Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this morning. Thank you for everyone that is able to join us here and for this time where we can pause, quiet our minds, and have some space where we can focus on whatever it is that you have for us this morning. And we thank you for your grace and your love. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Looks like we're not in Kansas anymore.
Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
He says, hello, Clarice.
Hello, Clarice.
Hello, Clarice. Good evening, Clarice.
If you build it, they will come.
If you build it, they will come.
Greed is good.
That greed, for lack of a better word, is good.
Fly, you fools!
Fly, you fools!
She says, mirror, mirror on the wall, right?
She says, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Or, yeah.
Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?
Luke, I am your father.
No, I am your father.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the meeting place. If we haven't had a chance to meet yet, my name is Gary. I'm one of the pastors here. Really glad that you're tuning in this morning from wherever that happens to be, your backyard, your kitchen, your living room, dining room, family room, with a friend, with a significant other, a pet, hopefully a dog, not a cat. Send us a pic. I know we say this every week, but it's awesome when we get pictures in because it just helps encourage all of us to know that we are meeting together even though we're apart. You can send them to the address on the screen, and we'll update the pre-service roll that happens actually before and after the service as you're waiting for us to go live. So make sure you do that, and thank you for sending pictures in. Now, you may have noticed some changes in scenery other than, Mark being with us this morning. We're still coming to you from our off-site facility, affectionately known as the Underground, so named because, well, we're underground in a basement in a building located up on Uplands in Rutherford. But for the last few weeks, we've had some awesome volunteers and some staff down here painting and building stuff. You can see the wall behind me. That's flooring that they put on the wall. They've done a fantastic job. We're trying to really enhance the live stream experience, both for us down here and for you guys online. So thank you to the volunteers that did that. I would name them, but there's too many to name, and I'd forget somebody, and then that wouldn't be good. So, but man, it looks awesome down here. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So how did you do on that opening video? Because we've all heard them, right? We've heard these sayings, these phrases that sound wise and insightful, and we think we're saying them accurately, but we're actually mistaken in how we're saying it. Like we saw in the opening clip, the one that tripped me up, I don't know how you did on those, but the one that tripped me up was the mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? I've been saying that wrong for I don't know how long, my whole life, I guess, and I feel sorry for my kids because that's what I taught them to say. Here's a couple of more that you may be familiar with. Maybe you've even said them yourself. This is probably one of the most famous ones. Beam me up, Scotty. Right? You ever said those words? I know I have. I utter them generally when I find myself in a situation I'd rather not be in, and it's like, just beam me up and get me out of here kind of thing. But here's the thing. James T. Kirk, captain of the USS Enterprise, the man who boldly went where no man had ever gone before, never actually said those words. What he said was, beam us up, Mr. Scott. There you go. How about this one? Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Commonly referred to as Murphy's Law, right? It's attributed to a guy named Edward Murphy. He's an aerospace engineer. However, Mr. Murphy never uttered those words. What he actually said was this: if there's more than one way to do a job, and one of those ways will result in disaster, then somebody will do it that way. I know exactly what he means. Today we're looking at a famous phrase that's heard quite a bit, said quite a bit. Maybe you've said it yourself, heard it, especially if you're around church, and it's this: God will never give you more than you can bear. Some people say God will never give you more than you can handle. Good-hearted people often use this phrase, this saying, to encourage a friend, a loved one, a family member that's going through a tough time, and it makes sense. While this phrase sounds very positive and is used with the best of intentions, if you thought that it's accurate, you'd actually be mistaken. Because God won't give you more than you can handle is nowhere to be found in the Bible. It's just simply not in there, even though it sounds very biblical. What you will find, however, is a verse that sounds like it, but we often take it and we twist it around to say that. And here's the verse. It says, "No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to us all. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear." The word that stands out in that verse is the word temptation, because that's what this verse is actually speaking to and addressing. Trials, troubles, tough times, they're never mentioned in this verse. But often that's when we will actually use this verse. When we see people, maybe ourselves, we're struggling, and somebody comes up to us and they tap us on the shoulder and they go, "Hang in there, man, hang in there. God won't give you anything more than you can handle." And like I say, it sounds really good. Those words just simply aren't true. They're just not in the Bible anywhere. What is in the Bible are stories of people like you, people like me, who were faced with far more than they could handle. Take, for example, Moses, right at the beginning of the Bible. He's the guy that led the Israelites, God's people, out of slavery from the Egyptians. And he did it by leading them through the Red Sea. It's an epic story. I'd encourage you to read it. Genesis, Exodus, read those two books. They read like a novel. And after being set free from a life of oppression, you would think people would be thankful. Like, yay, we're free. Well, here's what Moses found out. Not very long after they were set free, they did nothing but complain about everything. They were like Goldilocks. Oh, it's too hard, it's too soft, it's too hot, it's too cold. Mostly what they complained about, though, was what was on the menu. What are we going to eat? And if you're like the chief cook at home, if you prepare meals every day in and day out, maybe you can relate to this, because as you place dinner on the table and your family looks up and they go, what? Chicken again? We had chicken yesterday. Or casserole, really? Is that all you know how to make? Or how about this? No dessert? Like, we never have dessert anymore. It's pretty much what Moses was facing. And he finally gets to the point where he can't handle it anymore. And so he looks up and he says to God, he goes, I cannot carry these people by myself. The burden is too heavy for me. David and Goliath, of David and Goliath fame, he records these words when life was seemingly pressing in on him. He says this, for troubles surround me, too many to count. My sins pile up so high, I can't see my way out. They outnumber the hairs on my head. I have lost all courage. We'd be remiss if we forgot a book is named after a guy that lost everything. His name's Job. Loses his family, his business, his home. And at one point, his wife looks at him and says, why don't you just dry up and die? They go, well, what? And he can't handle it. And so he gets in a big debate with his friends and with God. It's an epic book if you want to read through it. Or these words from a guy named Paul. We talk about him a lot around here. He ended up writing what's almost half of the New Testament. He's a church persecutor at the beginning, and he turns into a church planter. And listen to these words that he wrote to some first century Christians that were planting churches, that were feeling a little discouraged, like they had too much to handle. And he says this to them. He says, we do not want you to be uninformed, brothers and sisters, about the troubles we experienced in the province of Asia. We were under great pressure. And listen to what he says. Far beyond our ability to endure, so that we despaired of life itself. Indeed, we felt we had received the sentence of death. I don't know what goes through your mind when you hear that, but it seems to me that God does in fact allow more than we can bear, more than we can handle, which raises a very good question. And the question is this, why? Like, one thing we talk a lot about here is God's unconditional, passionate love for us. How he cares for everything, every detail of our lives. So, if that's true, if that's what God, if he is that compassionate and caring, why would he allow us to be weighed down and overwhelmed with more than we could seemingly handle or bear? Well, I think Paul gives us the answer in what he writes next. He says, indeed, we felt like we had received the sentence of death. And then he says, but this happened that we might not rely on ourselves, but on God who raises the dead. It's interesting to think about. Now, Paul was up against it. He was up against circumstances far bigger than he was able to handle. He was worn out. Life was pressing in on all sides. He was literally ready to throw in that towel. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And maybe as I'm reading those words, you're thinking, I can relate to that on some level. Because you're living those words right now. You have something going on in your life that just seems unbearable. I can't do this. You know, in my 25 years before I became a full-time pastor, I worked as a commercial diver up and down the coast of BC, and I logged over 6,500 hours underwater. It was an awesome job. I loved it. And if you were to ask me, you know, did you feel comfortable in the water? You must have felt really comfortable down there. At one time, I would have said, yeah, you betcha. It's like a second home. But near the end, wouldn't have been true. You see, about 2/3 of the way through my dive career, I began having these panic attacks where I would just be suddenly overcome with the feeling that I'm going to die, I'm going to drown. And I remember the first one like it happened yesterday. We were in Haida Gwaii, Queen Charlotte Islands, diving, been up there for a couple of weeks, working away. And so this day started like any other day. I was underwater doing my thing, when out of nowhere, I was just overwhelmed with the sense that I was going to drown. I was going to run out of air, and that was going to be it. My heart started pounding, my blood pressure went through the roof, my mouth went dry, I started sweating in my full face mask, and I'm like, I got to get out of here. And so I headed for the boat, and I went to the surface. And the second I broke the surface, I dropped all my gear, my weight belt, my tanks, I took my mask off, I stripped out of my dry suit, and I paced that deck like a caged animal. My eyes must have been this big. The crew's looking at me like, dude, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, because I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Not super concerned, because I'd never had anything like this happen before. But nonetheless, it was pretty freaky. Went back diving, never felt any panic whatsoever. But over time, that seemingly random event began to happen on a more regular basis. And it seemed like every time I went out on a trip, I would feel this panic, this angst before I went in the water or while I was underwater. And here's the thing, I told no one because I was afraid it would jeopardize my career. Doctor would find out or something like that, and they'd pull my dive ticket. And if that happened, well, that would impact my finances, which would then impact my family life, which would then impact, and things just kept piling on. And so I had to figure out a way to kind of combat this thing, fight through it somehow. And so what I did is I came up with a strategy to help me cope and get through these panic attacks, which were quite nonsensical. They made no sense when they hit me. And it was a simple strategy. And here it is. It was this: logic. I just employed logic. If I was underwater and I started to feel that panic starting to grab me, I would just stop, close my eyes, and think through everything that could possibly go wrong. I would think, I feel like I'm running out of air. So I take a deep breath. No, I've got lots of air. That's not a problem. I would look and feel where my buckles were to release my weight belt, which would then allow me to float to the surface. I would know I would look up so I could see where the boat was. If I had to run for it right away, I would know which direction to go. And it worked. That strategy worked until one day it didn't. You know, one day my foolproof method of thinking through my checklist failed me completely and utterly. And it happened one year in Port Hardy at the north end of the island. I had just begun my dive, same thing. I'd been up there for a couple of weeks working, nothing at all in the panic world, just working away. I hit the bottom. I was in 60 feet of water when all of a sudden it started. And it always started in my toes for some reason. And I could feel the terror start in my toes, wrapped around my ankles, my thighs, my calves, my hips, my chest, curled around my head, and it just had me in its grip. And so I stopped. I started to employ, pulled out the weapon that had served me so well in the past, and I started to think through everything. I've got air, I've got this, I've got that. But it didn't do anything. I was absolutely convinced this was it. I was going to die. I looked to see where the boat was, and I said, okay, I can't do this anymore. If I lose my career, I lose my career. I'll just figure it out. And so I ran back for the boat, crying uncontrollably, thinking, what am I going to do? You know, and it was so visceral. I knew I was okay, but it was so real to me. And as I recall the story, I can feel the hair on my arms going up. Just as I think about that, it was such a horrible experience. I got back to the boat. I looked up, and I was just about to pull on a line that signals the deckhand that I'm coming up. And that was going to be it for me. My career was going to be over. And just before I pulled that line, a thought went through my head. And it was this: why haven't you invited God into the situation? It's something I'd never even thought of. Even though I had a relationship with God, I was like, I have never prayed about this or asked God about it or like to help me through this at all. And so I thought, okay, God, you know what's going on. Help me. Just help me. I can't do this anymore. And I can't explain this, but unexpectedly and almost immediately, a calm, a peace, an assurance that I was going to be okay just enveloped me. And my breathing slowed, my heart rate and my blood pressure dropped. And incredibly, I was able to turn around and finish my dive, came up, and for the rest of my dive career, I dove for about another 3 years after that, I never suffered a panic attack. Now, again, I hope what you're not hearing in that story is, oh, get God and life is good. Because as we heard earlier, that's not the case. It's simply not true. I still have things show up in my life where it's just far too big for me to handle. But what I'm trying to do, because I still try and figure things out on my own, got this problem, I'll take care of it, and I try and work it through. But here's what I'm learning. Very slowly, but I'm learning. That one day, one crisis, one trial at a time, I am learning to rely on and trust God just a little bit more than I did before. Just a little tiny step. It's all he asks us to ever take. Not a leap, not a jump. Just trust me a little bit. And that's the thing with a relationship with God. It's not a one and done process. It's a journey, a lifelong journey. And, you know, I don't know where you stand with God, what your relationship is with him, what's happening in your life right now. Maybe for you, as you're listening this morning, the thing that you can't handle that seems to be pressing in on you is your finances. After 3 months or 4 months of lockdown, the company that you used to work for or the company that you used to own is no longer in existence, and you're on the brink of bankruptcy. And you're trying to get through it alone, and nobody knows. Maybe the x-ray or the test results came back from the doctor, and there was a shadow or a negative result. Nobody else knows, and so you try and work through the situation yourself. And on I could go. Here's the thing, whatever you're going through, don't fall for that lie that God won't give you more than you can handle. Because here's the truth. All of us at some point, whether we know God or not, whether we believe God exists or not, all of us are going to go through things that are beyond our control, beyond our ability to handle, all that stuff. It's just the way it is. The question you need to ask yourself is this: when that happens, do I want to go through it alone, or do I want to invite the God who created me, dreamt me into existence, cares about every detail of my life? Do I want him to be with me in that trial, whatever it is I'm facing? Because that's the invitation from God to us. Listen to these words from Jesus. He says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Take my yoke upon me and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart. And you will find rest for your souls, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Those are beautiful words. And so wherever you're at today, my hope in prayer is that today would be a day, because again, this is a journey, that this would be a day that you take Jesus up on his offer and offload, invite him into whatever it is you're going through it so you can offload that burden to him. You know, maybe for you, that's going to be the first time you've ever done anything like that. Maybe you're at the end of your rope, just like, I've got nothing else to try, I'll try it. Or maybe you've done it before. Maybe this is your 10th time, your 100th time, your 1000th time. The only thing required of us is to just let it go and just invite God into that. And we can do that a couple of different ways. We can do that by ourselves. Just pray to God, like, God help me. Or we can do it with someone else. That's why we have a prayer line, a prayer button on the chat room. You heard Ian talking about that earlier. There's a team of people on there that are willing to pray with you right now. You just have to simply click that button. Someone will invite you into a completely private, confidential chat room where you can text back and forth. They can pray for you. If you're not into the tech stuff, go to our website, click on Connect with Us, fill out the form, and you will have a team of people praying for you. And I would encourage you to take advantage of that. I really would. Friends are also a great resource to tap into when life is heavy and hard and you feel like, I just can't take this anymore. And that's why we've started these connection groups. You've heard us talking about them over the last few weeks. You know, and I've seen these in action. I've been part of it. When my dad, just after my dad died, my mom's group surrounded her, came alongside her, provided meals, just a chat, just to sit with her quietly as she grieved the loss of her husband. It was a beautiful thing to watch. And so if you're not plugged into a group, I would really, really encourage you to sign up. It's a great way to get connected and to share with one another the things that we're going through in our life. And you can do that, just go online, click on themeetingplace.org, and you'll see a little button that says Connection Groups. Click on that, tell you everything you want to know, how to sign up, how to start a group, whatever you want to do. So I would encourage you to do that. The invitation, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest, is for every single one of us. And my prayer is that you would take that invitation and ask God into whatever it is you're facing. I invite you to pray with me. God, we can, the truth is life can just be hard. I mean, we'll have seasons where things are great and we'll just be humming along, but then we have a friend or maybe even ourselves, we just hit that bump in the road. And it just seems like things are coming at us so fast and we just feel like we're so overwhelmed. And we try and comfort ourselves or our friends by saying, don't worry, God won't give you more than you can handle. And it's not a matter of that. It's a matter of, hey, you're part of a broken world. It's not running the way it should. But when things go sideways, I will be there with you in it. And I just pray that wherever we find ourselves this morning, we would just be reminded of that. It's just a demonstration of how much you love us. So thank you for everyone that's tuning in here this morning. Just be with them as we go through these strange times we find ourselves in. And I pray this in your name. Amen.
Hey everyone, this is DJ. I'm one of the team leads on Sunday morning. If we were meeting at the theater, this would be the time where a little white bag would be passed around and the church would receive its offering. Obviously we're meeting virtually, so many things are different. But one of the things that is still staying constant is that the church is accomplishing its mission of unleashing God's extravagant love on the city. And I can tell you this personally because whenever I'm struggling, whenever I need prayer, whenever I just need some love, I'm able to pick up my phone and reach out to somebody at the church, and they are there for me every single time. And so at this point now, we can give back to the church, and we can do that so many different ways. Check out themeetingplace.org/donate. One of the ways that I give back is through the Meeting Place app, and then I'm able to donate right through the credit card link at the bottom. So thanks so much, and we'll see you next week.
Hey everyone, my name is Peter. I'm the Youth and Young Adults Pastor here at the Meeting Place Church, and welcome to TMP Life, where we want to let you know about all the awesome things that are happening in the life of the Meeting Place and how you can get connected. TMP Kids Community, if you've been missing the weekly fun of Kids Place, we have an exciting announcement for you. There is now a way for you to bring the fun of Kids Place to your home. There is now a TMP Kids Facebook group where you can find links to Sunday lessons, music, and activities for kids in preschool to grade 5. To find this group, head to themeetingplace.org and hit the Kids Place button at the top of the page. From there, join the group, the admin will let you in, and then the fun begins. It's been so long since we've been able to see each other face to face, and that's why we are starting TMP Hangouts. For the months of July and August, TMP staff and volunteers will be hosting Hangouts following our Sunday service, where we will be adhering to the Few Faces and Open Spaces guidelines by dividing our numbers across a variety of outdoor locations like Swilana Park, Piper's Lagoon, and others. We are still working out all the details, so watch for more information on these TMP Hangouts to come, and we can't wait to hang out with you. For more info on what's happening at the Meeting Place Church, head to themeetingplace.org or email admin@themeetingplace.org. We hope you have a really great week, and don't forget to get connected.
Welcome back. So we are going to do just a couple more songs here. Wherever you are, you're welcome to sing along with us. We will have the words up there. If you just want to listen and enjoy and worship that way, you're welcome to it. Walking around these walls, I thought by now they'd fall, but you have never failed me yet. Waiting for change to come, knowing the battle's won, for you have never failed me yet. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. Still in your hands, this is my confidence. You've never failed me yet. I know the night won't last. Your word will come to pass. My heart will sing your praise again. Jesus, you're still enough. Keep me within your love. My heart will sing your praise again. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. Still in your hands, this is my confidence. You never failed me yet. see you do it again. I've seen you move. You move the mountains, and I believe I'll see you do it again. You made a way when there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never failed me yet. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. Still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never failed me yet. Never failed me yet. Through every battle, through every heartbreak, through every circumstance, I believe that you are my fortress, you are my portion, you are my hiding place. Oh, I believe that you are the way, the truth, the light. I believe that you are the way, the truth, the light. I believe that you are.
Every blessing, through every promise, through every breath I take, I believe that you are protector, you are protector, you are the one I love. I believe that you are the way, the truth, the light. I believe that you are the way, the truth, the light. I believe that you are.
And it's a new horizon, and I'm set on you. And you meet me here today with mercies that are new. And all my fears and doubts, they can all come true, because they can't stay long when I'm here with you. And it's a new horizon, and I'm set on you. And you meet me here today, mercies that are new. All my fears and doubts, they can all come true, because they can't stay long. And I believe that you are the way, the truth, the light. I believe that you are the way, the truth, the light. And I believe that you are. And I believe that you are worthy of every song we could ever sing. worthy of all the praise we could ever bring, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. We live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are, and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. We live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. You open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are, and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Death could not hold you. The veil tore before you. The silence and boast of sin and grave. The heavens are roaring the praise of your glory. For you are raised to life again. You have no rival. You have no equal, now and forever, God, you reign. And yours is the kingdom, and yours is the glory, yours is the name above all names. And I will build my life upon you have no rival, you have no equal, now and forever, God, you reign. And yours is the kingdom, yours is the glory, yours is the name above all names. There is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are, and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me.
Really glad that you joined us this morning. Hey, thanks to Mark and Ian for doing music. It was awesome having Mark in here all the way from Oxford before he makes his way to New Brunswick. And all summer, we're going to have different TMP band members leading, guests coming in. As maybe you have or haven't heard, Julian, who was our music director here for the last 6 years, is moving on to some other things. So we're really looking forward to what God has in store for not only him, but us as a church as we move forward into the fall and whatever that's going to look like. If you haven't had a chance to, or you want to send some well wishes to Julian, send him some love, make sure you do that. Julian@themeetingplace.org. He'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for tuning in. Next week, we're going to continue on in our series, Mistaken, looking at another little juicy tidbit that is often misquoted. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.
Is it getting better? Or do you feel the same? Will it make it easier on you now? But you've got someone to blame. You say, one love, one life, and it's one need in the night. One love, we get to share it. It leaves you, baby, and you don't care for it.
Did I disappoint you? Or leave a bad taste in your mouth? You act like you never had love, and you want me to go without. Well, it's too late tonight to drag the past out into the light. Oh, but we're not the same.
Carry each other, carry each other. Have you come here for forgiveness? Have you come to raise the dead? Have you come here to play Jesus? To the lepers in your head, did I ask too much? More than a lot? Gave me nothing, now it's all I've got. We're one, but we're not the same. Will we hurt each other, then we do it again. You say love is a temple, love the higher Lord. Love is a temple, love the higher Lord. You asked me to enter, but then you made me crawl. And I can't be holding on to what you got when all you got is hurt. One love, one blood, one life. You've got to do what you should. One life with each other, sisters, brothers. each other. Whoa.